All right, all right. Welcome back to the Coach Logic Beyond Coaching podcast. With me, I've got Gary Esparza. Gary Esparza of Gary's Gym out in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Gary, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Really excited.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, we're stoked to have you here today. So, man, let's just dive straight into it. When we talked previously, you started. Give me your background, but I really want to make sure you hit the name of the first gym that you had, because I think that's where we should start today.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, like, this is about the only job I've had since graduating high school. I'm 36 now. I started as a personal trainer just at another gym. Really started as like more of a sales role at another gym built into the personal training. Whenever I finally opened my own spot, it was DPO Fitness, Don't Puss Out Fitness. People flocked to it, man. I had all different demographics. We had grandmas, we had people that fit that image coming in. I mean, really the training spoke for itself, but the immaturity was absolutely there.
That's awesome, man. So tell me about Gary's Gym, dude. I love your guys' model. Your website's clean. I think you guys are crushing it. Give me the lowdown there.
For sure, man. So right now, this is my first gym that I opened with my own money. It's been a long time of just grinding. Whenever I put this thing together, I wanted there to be an experience with everything, whether you're in the bathroom, whether you're walking through the door, whether you're doing your actual programming, there was an experience to be had. So we're a strength training gym. We're a USAW club by trade, but our group fitness is, I call it general powerlifting, is what I call it. We operate off of a powerlifting structure that I don't want to say watered down, but I have made it accessible for the general public. We periodize our training. So this week is our final week of a 12-week strength cycle. We've just been pushing numbers hard. We're going to phase into a 12-week hypertrophy cycle. And these are teachers. Nobody in my gym is competing outside of folks that are in the weightlifting side. So it's really unique in that aspect that we're doing a coach-led powerlifting system for general public. And in my world where we're at over here on the East Coast, I haven't found somebody that's really leaned into that niche yet.
Yeah. It's interesting, obviously. So, like, I own SoCal Powerlifting out here in California, and we've sort of commercialized powerlifting in the sense where when I started training powerlifting, it was like the big old white dudes with hairy chests, shirtless, benching a bunch, and they're overweight and not healthy. And what I wanted to do was bring like almost like a sort of a professional look to powerlifting. Yeah. And that's what we've been able to do here. And it sounds like you've done something similar over there.
And that's exactly what I lean into, man. I want them to come in like, dude, we have a cleaning fee if you walk in with dirty shoes. You know what I'm saying? The gym is cool. Spotless. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we talked before, lean really heavily into Planet Fitness's business model because they're clearly doing something right. We talked about like my price transparency on the website is pretty backwards from what a lot of our industry does. Hey, do the information form, we'll reach out to you. Nah, I have it all transparent right there. When you click on it, you have a full list of all of our memberships. You buy your 2 for $10, and that really locks everybody in. It gives them the opportunity to already be invested, come in, try it, and then all it does is switch their membership over.
Yeah. And so I think you told me you once raised prices across the board like 70%. What pushed you to do that? And how did your members react?
So, dude, that wasn't it. Gary's Gym. I used to own CrossFit Elizabethtown here in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I got into it with their original owner, or bought into it with the original owners, which super happy to make this dude buy Don't Puss Out Fitness because that's not his character at all. Little glorified it. It felt good. But whenever I came in there, it was very much just like a hangout for the owner's wife and so he had, some of his friends at $25 a month, and he had other people, strangers, at like $100 a month, and it just wasn't conducive. They had 2 coaches that they started at $35,000 a year salaries. Actually, 2 of my old coaches went over there. And then so whenever he realized like, oh man, you know what, we probably need to professionalize this and make it more of a actual business. That's whenever I sold DPO Fitness to him. I came in, and that was the first thing I was like, yo, we have to have price integrity. Like this has got to switch. And so, taking people from $25 a month up to $135 at that time, this was back in 2014, was a big hit. It wasn't such a big hit to people that were used to paying the already rate, but the people that were a little spoiled that thought like, you know what, I'm just here to hang out with my buddies. I'm not going to pay that much money. We lost far less than what the margin was gained. And that's what my idea was. I was looking at it, I was like, look, dude, if even 2 of these people that are at $25 a month move up, that takes care of hell, 10 others that leave.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a, frankly, I didn't give a fuck how many people left. It was, this is a business. This is my food, where he manufactures stainless steel tankers. So they didn't give a shit how much money was coming in. But for me, I mean, this is how I was feeding my family. This is how I was raising my kids. So I didn't give a shit how many people left, because I knew that the service spoke for itself and other people would be coming in.
Yeah, yeah. And we talked a lot about like price integrity. I love
Yeah,
that ideology. I feel like in fitness and coaching training, there's like this weird sort of thing about like price. And you come in and some people try to wheel and deal. Other coaches are kind of like doing this sort of back and forth thing when it comes to price. And it's like, what it should be is like, this is the rates, this is how it works, and this is what you get. And it sounds like that's what you've been able to do.
for sure, man. I tell everybody that the price is the last thing you discuss. Whenever I'm coaching coaches on how to do this, we get coaches all the time. And I'm sure you've experienced it. You have a great coach, but they have no idea as to how to do sales. And whenever the time comes that they got a price point pitch, they're like, it's going to be 75 an hour for this session. How does that feel to you? It's like, oh, yo,
Yeah.
dude, cut that shit. Look, my service is this. Put it on the website. You don't even have a conversation, so that you can focus on actually serving them. I
Yeah.
love the sales aspect. I have no problem pitching whatever our prices is. That's actually what I've been working on today. We're opening up a new gym here in Hardin County, and it's more of a global, traditional go in, scan your key card sort of thing with a very high end appeal to it. That's what I was just working on, was like, what are the sales team going to be doing? And frankly, I don't want them to do anything. Put it on the website. People will buy it off there. Your job is to show them the service that they're purchasing, not to sell them the damn service.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like I go back and forth on this. I think on one end, I always want to start conversations. And so like,
For
I
sure.
like the idea of some sort of like free lead mag. Like I know you have the 2 for 10 offer to
Yeah.
get people like in the door to have maybe more conversations. And for us here, like we've tested a lot of different things, but we're running a free powerlifting assessment right now to like get people in the door,
Okay.
to like show the value, feel it out, get a good vibe. And then from there, they can say, oh, the investment then makes sense. Like they understand. I think a lot of people sometimes like prospective clients, they might see price, have a knee jerk reaction without understanding the value that they're receiving. And so
For
that's like
sure.
the game that I think we have to play as owners, is like, we have to ensure that they're educated enough to understand the value. One of the things I struggle with is like our model is interesting. So like we run like a hybrid training model where it's almost like online coaching and in person combined, where you get some sessions, you get an online program through Coach Logic, and then you get 24/7 gym access. So a lot of like our prospects don't like understand how it works. Like we have to explain it,
Right.
which, maybe that's a model problem, but versus being group class based, it's like group class, you can like jump in the class, do 2 for 10, doesn't matter, doesn't really mess with your margin. You're doing the class anyway. And I've always been envious of like a group class model, because I'm like, oh, that'd be so much easier to run a free lead mag or cheap lead mag. My question for you is, so the 2 for 10 is, we talked about your sales funnel. I think you're crushing it. Take me through your 2 for 10 sales funnel, how that's working for you and what you're doing there.
For sure, man. Frankly, this is my first time we've ever been this automated. I've always been super hands-on on the sales system. I've got a guy with me that I do jujitsu with, man. He's one of our black belts at my school. And he runs, I want to make sure to get this guy, goarmy.com lead generation. So like he's on the
Mm,
back office of all that programming. He automated that whole website. Somebody logs in there. We got 2 for 10 right there in front of their face. All right, cool. Buy 2 for 10. That captures all their information, billing, and takes care of the contract and waiver. Our contract's really just more like a user agreement. Like, hey, don't come to the
mhm.
gym with dirty shoes. Don't break my damn equipment.
Yeah.
Listen to the shit that I tell you to do. And if you get hurt, it's on you. And so once we get that, I get an email. We got a gym iPhone. And the fact that somebody gets an actual iMessage rather than like just this, a text message from whatever back system that there is, that immediately like puts the wall down. Like, oh, this is
Yeah.
a human that I'm talking to. They'll get a text message. I ask them like, hey, would you rather have a communication via phone call or text message? 9 times out of 10, within 3 text messages, it's like, all right, cool. I'll see you on Monday at 5:30
Yeah.
class. They come in, they've already talked to a human. So now it's just putting a face to it. They come in, they go through the class. First 2 classes are more about, honestly, the members sell it. We have such a great community, man, that like I told you, we've got teachers, we've got business owners, we've got ex football players and everything between. They all know that, like, you see a new person come in, talk to them, make sure that they're available. That's something we learned from the CrossFit business model that like the community is a big deal. I established the culture, the community established the friendliness. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so whenever somebody walks in, they do their first session. It's like, hey, how'd you enjoy it? We keep it pretty, we pull the reins on them pretty hard, regardless if they're experienced or not. They're going to go through something that they've not been through. We want to make sure that like they're not going to, get the T-Rex arms, not be able to freaking walk the next day.
Mhm.
Hey, when's your next session? After the next session, they're pretty much already sold. And then we just transition their membership over.
Yeah, man. I think that's freaking awesome. Like, I love that you guys have taken, again, like actual strength training and broken it down to like a class-based model. I feel like I see a lot of class-based gyms out there that try to do strength training or powerlifting or whatever it is, and it's just like a bad product. It's,
Agreed.
right?
Dude, you can look at it like look at the immaturity of 99% of CrossFit boxes. Like you've got
Yeah.
your good ones, you've got your Mayhems, your NorCals, and all those. But when you walk into one, if you look back on the past 6 weeks of their programming, it's just like throwing shit at the wall till it sticks, And normally it doesn't stick; it's just spinning the hamster wheel. When
Yeah.
you get people in there and they run through their first cycle and they're like, oh shit, I feel like I just gotten better at something. I'm not used to doing bench press every Monday. I'm not used to squatting every Tuesday. And then whenever they start getting in the routine, they start feeling the technique, they start feeling their numbers go up. That is just uplifting. The memberships end up selling themselves, and then the retention ends up selling themselves because they feel true progress, not just, "Ah, Gary, I don't feel like I'm getting stronger in my legs." Well, let me look at your attendance. All right, look, here's
Yeah.
your attendance. It's all right there. Let's look at your
Yeah.
logging. Oh, yeah, you've been really backing off the past 3 weeks. What's been going on? So
Yeah.
it makes it whenever you don't have to sell so much, you get to focus on those intricacies within the model.
Yeah, and I like, something I always believe is like we need to gamify training. Like it needs to
Mhm.
be fun and but results oriented. That's why like you'll never see me on the bodybuilding stage because it's first of all, I'm never gonna get that lean. Second of all, because I like food. And second
Oh,
of all,
no,
it's
you do.
also it's subjective. Like whereas strength training is an objective sport thing, you can see measurable progress. And I think it's on us as coaches or softwares like Coach Logic, shout out, to show us like in your face, like you've made progress. This is what you're
Yeah.
doing, or you haven't, and here's why. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, man. We, with our programming software we have, I'm actually was on the phone with them, griping at them about something going on their back office. And it's like, yo, I need this fixed. This is
Yeah.
something that I don't want my members to have to stress about. If a PR updates, I need it to update. I don't need them to have to
Yeah.
go in and do it. And when they see that, dude, every time a trophy pops up on their screen, they're like, I hear it. Oh, I got a trophy. Oh, I got a
Yeah.
trophy. You know,
Yeah.
or if they're like, oh, man, I wasn't able to get that. I'm like, yo, let's swipe back. Dude, you've not been here the past 4 squat sessions. What's been going on? All right, tight. You still hit your 80%. How'd it feel? So we have all those different dynamics we can hit rather than just like that blunt. Oh, there's 5 extra pounds on the bar. As
Yeah.
a coach, I think it's important to be able to hit those different avenues of progress.
100%. And going back to what you said about the automation standpoint in the iPhone, I think that's super cool. We actually, so I found a software called Link, LANQ,
Okay.
that sends iMessages from my CRM. And so like it's a cool integration. It wasn't super expensive. It's like $1,500 for the year. And so we have an iMessage line that's automated that it says, hey, it could say, hey, Gary, like if you reach out, this is Zach from SoCal Powerlifting, would love to chat with you, blah, 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 blah. And it's been working way, way better than like the green SMS reply stop to unsubscribe stuff. So if a coach is listening to this, gym owner, like
Stop. The
start
blue bubble's
automating some of this
valuable.
stuff. Get the blue bubble. Yeah, get the blue
Yes.
bubble and start automating these processes. Cause like I'll tell you this, like what I learned, I feel like what led to a lot of the growth of my gym is as soon as a lead came in, back when it was manual, immediately I'd call them. I didn't care if it was 8 p.m., 6 a.m. Like if they submit a form, that means they're awake. I'm gonna call them, I'm gonna text them. And so now we just have that automated now to where they get the text, they get a text, we can do a voice memo, they can book a free assessment, whatever it is. That needs to happen because the minute they're reaching out to your gym, they're probably looking at other gyms as well. The first one
For
to,
sure.
to reach out wins, typically, is what I find. I don't know if you see the same thing.
In my sales time with this, it's absolutely that urgency is key. And I think that's what separated us whenever I was at CrossFit Elizabethtown. I was like, the second we got an email, boom, we're back. Whenever I
Yeah.
sold it, the owner just kind of a lazy sack of shit, man. So whenever he would get something in, it was just like, yo, they emailed you 2 weeks ago. Why haven't you hit them back? That urgency it's
Yeah.
not just in the gym industry. That's all industry. Talk to a car salesman. A lead comes in an hour, it's going.
Yeah, and it's fun. Yeah, with car sales, you're like, I'm so afraid to put my number anywhere because I know I'm just gonna get hit up by like everyone. But hey, that's how it works. So, man, Gary, you've had gyms, succeed, gyms fail. What's one mistake you'll never make again?
Dude, getting a partner, having a partner for sure, having a partner and selling to a friend. So that like both my partners with CrossFit Elizabethtown, I bought it from a guy. Just I had to backtrack. So I ended up selling 10 lifetime memberships to get
Wow.
out of a hole that this dude dug in. Because just because you could run a multi-million-dollar tanker business doesn't mean you can run a gym. And that was made very apparent to me once I signed the line, got all the back office stuff. Like, yo, what have you been doing? And then whenever I sold it to a longtime coach of mine, I hired this guy whenever I was 19. He'd been with me the whole time. Second I sold, all his dirty laundry came out. And I was like, oh, dude, oh no. And I mean, everything just started going downhill. I actually breached my contract to get out of it. Just spit out 14 grand because I was like, dude, I can't mess with you anymore. Cannot be associated with it anymore. So it's just not worth it. The guy that I'm partnering with this new gym, the only reason I'm partnering with him is two reasons. One, he is a credible, non-greedy man. And two, he's got the finances to supply this $2 million project we're doing. So yeah,
Mhm.
having a partner, you got to make sure that there's a dotted line to sign with just criteria that neither one of you can break. That is a big deal, but I won't have a voiced partner ever again.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think we always hear the things like don't work with your friends or don't partner with your friends. Like I saw something recently from I think it was Naval Ravikant, an entrepreneur or CEO that I look up to a lot, and he said that like don't partner with your friends, but partners can become friends. Like you can build these friendships from your working relationships, like that's okay, as long as it was a business relationship first,
For sure.
versus if you go and partner with a friend, like you're sort of being assumptive that you know how they operate in a work environment, you know what they bring to the table. And so we overlook a lot of that discovery and those questions we probably ask ourselves. The guard is not as up. And so we just kind of jump into these things. I did the same thing. When I opened SoCal Powerlifting, it was actually the gym I was working at, Juggernaut Training Systems, was closing.
Yeah.
I partnered with two guys. One, I was 20 years old at the time, so one was like a better businessman, I thought.
What
And
year was that?
this was 2017.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so and so I partnered with this dude. He had another brand that did some other stuff. Not even gonna go into it. But it was, so we opened the gym, it was called something else, and then right away I realized like I brought the money to the table. This guy didn't bring anything and he had excuses. And he didn't even work hard. Like he would never be there. He'd never do anything. I'm like, what am I doing here? And thank God we didn't have an operating agreement in place. So I was just able to be like, hey, this isn't working. Like we're done and
Right.
move forward. But
And
it's
man,
like
I feel you
we
on
make
that
those
too.
mistakes. Yeah. Yeah.
So like to touch on your thing, like you can have that business relationship turns into a friendship. That's actually how it started with the dude that I sold this gym to. I
Yeah.
hired him when I was 19, got him out of Radio Shack, got him out of what I thought was an abusive relationship. Up until the time we go to sign this contract for the sale, everything's good. The moment his, what I thought was ex-wife walked into the room, I was like, whoa, what in the fuck's going on? What is happening here? And that's when like just this amount of dirty laundry was dumped on me. Hey, dude, first off, congrats to you for keeping secrets for 12 years, man. Second
Yeah.
off, eat shit, dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I feel you. But even that's not a protective. Yeah. Like I have a dude that I thought was my friend that we started a business with, DPO Fitness, actually.
Yeah.
We both put in 10 grand. And when the time came that he wanted some, I was like, bro, you haven't been here working. What are you talking about? Get your money and get out. And so I've had both of them. I've had friends that I've partnered with that didn't work. And then I had the business associate turn into partner that did not work. So
Yeah.
now the only thing going for me is like this guy right here that I'm opening the new gym with, and he has the vast majority ownership with it. It's just my idea. We're setting very clear boundaries. And frankly, he's somebody I trust with my life. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have the gyms I have now. So he's definitely got the credibility and resources that are needed for it.
Yeah, and so I actually want to get into that. So you
For
obviously you
sure.
mentioned you're getting a decent stake in this global gym idea. How did you come about this deal, and like what are you trying to build here?
For sure. So man, the deal came just because I'm not afraid of the word no at all. Like, so I've always wanted to open a gym, have this big ass gym, be the gym owner in the area. Since I was 7, this is what I've wanted to do. These little boutique gyms have always just kind of been a stepping stone. And I found love for them along the way. Like Gary's gym will be Gary's gym forever. It's going to be my baby. I love it. This one is guy's name's Stuart. Love him to death. About the only male in my life I've ever looked up to. He years and years and years ago, he always said, "Man, I want to own the gym in Hardin County. We've got 2 gyms here in town. We now have one. We had 2. We now have one. One of them was long standing. It just closed in December. Like boom, sticker on the door, done, closed. And I mean, it was a super shitty way to close. The one we have now, I actually ran the personal training app back in 2009 to about 2012. And whenever we were running it, me and my best friend, Sarah Knight, we were there, we were rocking. She was selling like 100 memberships a month, man. Just herself rocking. I was bringing in 10 grand in revenue, cash gross for them, and then distributing personal training out. It was going awesome. Once we left, everything just started going downhill. You walk in, you see all the small things not being taken care of, the cleanliness. We might get a new sauna, but the urinals don't work. So all those priorities are just really kind of messed up. I went to Stewart after the EAC or Detailed Swim Fitness closed is the name of it. And I was like, look, man, you've always wanted to own the gym in town. I have a scalable model over here at Gary's Gym where we can take the whole group fitness class, throw it to the side, and look at cleanliness and 100% equipment upkeep, basically the same foundation that Planet Fitness lives off of. And we will scale it for a global gym of high luxury, or scalable luxury is what I call it. I pitched it to him. He has an undying trust in me in this industry. So he was like, cool, put me together some ideas. I got on Rogue Fitness website. I use their Zeus creator constantly, man. So I got on there, just built up some like 26,000 square foot facility. And he was like, dude, how big is this? Like 26,000. He was like, how about we do 11? I was like, deal. That's what I wanted anyways, man. I don't know if you've ever read the book 48 Laws of Power, but
I haven't, but you mentioned it before.
Dude, it's killing me. It's the Christopher Columbus clause, man. Shoot for the moon, but just take whatever meteors you get. And so I shot for the moon. I got the building that I wanted. We just actually closed on the building that we're going to do last week.
That's awesome.
Oh, dude, it's so fucking cool. It's going to be right at about 13,000 between the base level and then the top level cardio deck. We're going through, got to have a Watson. There we go. Where'd you go? There we go. Going through to Watson, who's going to fully supply most of the strength training, and Rogue Fitness will supply everything, all the place and whatnot. And man, he, like I said, Stuart's just got the finances behind it, and he wants to own the gym. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say I played off of it, but I sold him on his own interests of what he wanted. And then I sold him on the trust that, hey, look, dude, I've already built this gym. We're already the premier spot now. Now let's attack the other side of the industry. I wish I could say it was harder than what it was, but frankly, it was just having a meeting with a buddy. And he's like, dude, I got you. Go for it.
Yeah, man. I think that's freaking awesome. Like I find that strategic partnerships like that they work really, really well. There needs to be an operator involved, and you're obviously, with your experience, like coming in hot, you're able to sort of, do this thing, and with his leverage of finance, like I think you'll crush it, man.
He's got the leverage of finance, but he's also got the business sense too.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest skills I've gained from it is like looking at a model like, yo, that doesn't fit, or that's a round peg in a square hole. Let's get that out. That's not working. That's not bringing an ROI, or that's not making the life easier. He has that talent, regardless of what industry it is. He can look at a model and be like, let's look at this. He might not have the solution, but he can absolutely identify the problem.
Yeah, definitely. So you've had like a lot of mentors. You've had a ton of experience, obviously, in the industry. And what's probably the biggest lesson that you've learned from like a mentor that shaped the way you coach and run gyms today?
Dude, actually from Stuart. Whenever I was first on DPO Fitness, man, he walked in while I was coaching a group of people, did everything but drag me by the ear and be like, you think this is clean? You think anybody's going to shit in this toilet? This is gross, dude. Like chewed me out. It's the only time he's ever talked to me like that too. So like that moment right there sticks in my mind that if you don't have a clean bathroom, you don't have a decent facility, period. If your bathroom's not clean, you're missing all the other metrics that are above. And so like, that's frankly what I built this gym off of. It's what I built my last gyms off. Keep it clean, and you will see that every other process starts falling in line because you care about the small things.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah, correct.
And the little things matter. I remember I was talking to one of our longtime female clients, and I always am asking people like, why did they join? What led them here, and what was like that aha moment? And she's like, oh, when I walked in, I saw that you had like extra hair ties for women,
Yes,
like
sir.
just in a jar in the front. And they're like, huh? Now was something my wife had just like thrown in there. My wife like brought some extra stuff, and we have these jars of like hair ties and buns and stuff like that. And I'm like, I would have never thought that that would be the selling point. Or like
Dude, it's
we have
amazing.
feminine
Tiny.
products in the bathrooms. Like again, I know I would have never thought that that would be a big deal, but it is. It's a huge
Dude,
deal,
it's huge. The same. So we've got hair ties and clips available. We got
Yeah.
feminine products of varying degrees in the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Hell,
Yeah.
dude, went through a company named Fab, who is like, it's got this little holder on the wall and right next to the toilet. And it's just this little pouch. You put your products in, your waste
Yeah.
products in as a female, close it up, throw it in the trash can, rather than sitting
Mhm.
there just wrapping it up in
Yeah.
toilet paper, it shows that you have thought about the client more than just them coming in as a
Yeah.
member being a dollar bill. It's the small things like that that I think compile for sure. I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned the hair tie thing, man, because that's big for us too, being able to
Yeah.
service folks like that. I've got a match striker in the bathroom, man. Take a duty in the
Ah.
bathroom. Nobody wants to walk in behind that. So I got this
Yeah.
really cool cast iron match striker, man, which is a hilarious story. In the women's bathroom, you see it strike and just the head of the match is burned. In the men's bathroom, they strike and it's always like 3/4 up the stick from where the boys are
Oh,
like,
that's
oh,
funny.
fire. It's hilarious, man.
That's awesome. What actually that brings me to a good question. Like, what do you think are some like low hanging, low cost things that make a huge difference when it comes to client experience and member experience?
Oh, dude, so you nailed it as far as the female side, like making sure that their toiletries and frankly their hair is readily available. I mean, it's so wild that you can just go spend $50 a year on hair ties and you gain, 2 grand worth of female clientele off of it.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
toilet paper, dude. I believe that
True.
a toilet paper
Double
reflects
ply.
yeah, dude, toilet double ply soft, man. We got a brand members mark brand here from Sam's. And like, dude, it's the best toilet paper in the world. Soft,
Yeah.
durable. It's great. I've used it for years and I preach that too. For showers, just running towel service, man. Buy
Mhm.
good towels. Like, don't just buy scratchy towels. Go spend money on towels. Redo them every year. Make sure that they stay bright and make sure they're big. So those
Mhm.
small things like that, where people would just be like, "Oh, geez, you spent what on towels?" Like, no, no, we didn't spend it on towels. We spent it on you.
Mhm. I love that a lot, man. I think that's
Yeah,
great. That's awesome. For coaches, a lot of coaches I think listen to this that they dream of opening a gym. And then there's a lot of gym owners out there that always are like, don't open a gym. I think that this idea can be misconstrued. I think a lot of gym owners are running their gym improperly. Like,
yeah.
I've
It
seen
runs
lots
a
of success.
hangout.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just not like with no business sense or like long-term vision at play. So what would you tell a coach that comes to you and like, Gary, I want to open a gym. What are like the top 3 things I should do?
Oh, that's a really good question, man. First of all, worry about your own clientele. Don't worry about what other coaches are doing. It's so easy to get caught up on people looking at people that are where you want to be and trying to fast track it. Keep blinders on the people in front of you because
Mhm.
eventually it will grow. Don't start too big. Start at the scale you're at right there. We're getting ready to open up a $2 million facility. That's after several tens of thousands of facilities and then one $100,000 facility. You can't be in a rush to grow, dude. Don't sleep with your clientele.
Yeah, yeah, true, true,
Yeah,
true,
I
true.
mean, there's a good one,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Oh, but dude, man, those are good questions. That's a really good question. There's been just so many lessons learned, man. It's really hard to pick, and that's huge to me. Like lessons learned and not repeating the same mistake over and over again. That it look take inventory on your mistakes. There we go. That's a good one. Take
Mhm,
inventory
mhm,
on the mistakes that you make on a regular basis. Like, yeah, I fucked that up. Let's not repeat that. Or if you're gonna repeat it, make sure it's in a different dimension of some sort. Like if you forgot to clean the toilets one day, don't forget to clean the toilets again. If you cussed a client out and they weren't worth it, maybe you should apologize, dude. You might not get them back, but maybe you should reach out. There's so many mistakes one can have.
and I feel like, in jujitsu, so I train jujitsu as well. I just came from
Yeah,
a
I
class
saw.
this morning. Yeah, yeah, I got the yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
yeah. I talk about win or learn, right? So like we're either
Oh,
winning or
yeah.
we're learning. And so we have to
That's
turn
a good
the
one.
the L's into losses into learning lessons. I believe that like we oftentimes we don't learn from our wins because they're just wins. They're like these realized gains of the unrealized gains of losing. And so
Yeah,
I'm a big believer of like just fail as fast and as many iterations as possible so that you can actually get to the thing that works. And
for sure.
typically it's like I feel like 99% of the things we do won't matter, but it leads us to like the 1% that does and like gives us that 10x 100x return.
For sure. To
Yeah.
compile upon that, man, whatever you, if you control the mistake as well, like take the risk, intentionally take the risk, because then you can control the outcome of the failure. You can control the size of it. If the risk is thrust upon you, but dude, you don't know what you're going to end up losing. But if you just look at the risk, like I'm trying this, the degree of like punishment that you get out of whatever the failure is a lot more in your control. For instance, with this gym, I didn't just jump into it to where now, oh God, I'm going to be dead bankrupt if it goes down. No, I'm not. We have fallback plans the whole
Hmm.
time. And that's all very calculated risk. That's the word I was
Hmm.
trying to put together, man.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think it's all about like it's having plan A, B, C, D, etc.
Yeah,
But also going all in on each one, going all in on plan A. Like
absolutely.
we don't want to put in a half measure, half effort because we're going to fall back on plan B. But like plan B is only if plan A truly fails, but we gave plan A everything we had, right?
For sure, man. For sure. So
Yeah.
when we implement a new system at the gym, like we implemented our weightlifting class, our group weightlifting class. Amber would know the exact day, my coach, but it was probably over 6 months ago. Dude, there was a stress test before that. Like, yo, let's get a couple classes in. Let's do a like grand opening. I cook breakfast for my gym every quarter. That's one of our like little community benefits. I bust out the Blackstone, start whipping up eggs. So we
That's awesome.
launched it on that day, to see all the involvement. We did a couple weeks of trial and we're like, okay, it's here. Let's go with it. And so the cost of the membership, the cost of the extra class, everything, we had a stress test beforehand. We were able to see it and then we went full in. Have we had down weeks on it? Absolutely. But we look at why. Are people not enjoying the program? One guy said, I don't want to just do snatch on Wednesday and then clean on Saturday. I'd like to get some work in at least on the one day that I can make it. Fair. Let's go. And then that's what we did. Yeah.
I love that, man.
Listening to the clientele helps out a lot. Orlando, I did his strength is a strongman stuff. Are you familiar with Rob Orlando by chance?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Rob's a cool guy, man. I think he just is recovering from throat cancer or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So speedy recovery to him. He, when CrossFit broke off from their specialty courses and just kind of let everybody do their own thing, I got invited out to Virginia to do his strongman course. And one of the things he said, he was like, well, members come up with a suggestion. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, put it right here. And he slid him a trash can. Like, brutal, bro. You know, for me, I listen to that shit, man. We're a
Yep.
service provider. Of course, I have a dream, but I want to meet these people where they are. And I feel like even if they're completely ignorant to the system, there's something you could probably grab out of the interest and twist it to make it work within your system that you're trying to build. You can't, of course,
Yeah.
bend the knee to everybody. That's stupid. You wouldn't be a business owner then. And nobody would fucking like you. There's advice to be taken from anybody.
Hmm. I think that I do a lot of the fitness business coaching and
Yeah.
consulting, and one of the things that I talk about is first of all, yeah, like leading on your customer, listening to your customer, and what I recommend is this: don't go to your customer with, "Hey, what are some ideas I can have to like improve my business in my gym?" No, 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 no. You think about those things, you come up with two or three things, and then you survey your customers on the two or three things you come up with. That way, you've already filtered down into what's reasonable. All
Right.
three options are reasonable, and then they get to tell you out of the two or the three what makes the most sense. So this is a great opportunity. I was working with one of my gym owners I coach, and he was looking at adding in another class time, whether it was going to be a morning or an evening or midday, whatever. I go, okay, pick the three, survey your members. What are they going to attend? And then you just do a trial class at that time for a month that they choose. And it's like,
Right.
duh, because they're going to be the ones going to the class. You're opening the class for them.
Correct.
And so we might as well just ask them straight up. Yeah, like which one of these makes sense? That's how I would go about doing it.
For sure. And back to the people open gyms without a good model. I think that they open a gym and forget the fact that they are serving people and their opinions matter. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has them, but let's listen. The worst, you're going to miss out on a ton if you don't intentionally go out and be like, hey, what do you like about this? What do you not like about this? We used to run like 3 days a week of conditioning at Gary's gym. Of course, we would have a strength dynamic and then some simple, like true GPP, not like quick snatches and shit like that, but farmers carries, pushes, drags, sprints. People fucking hated it. Absolutely
Yeah.
hated it. So we moved it to 1 day a week on Saturdays with an arms day because they like the buys and tries for the weekend,
Yeah.
man. And it exploded. We actually removed it from this strength cycle, and our Saturday numbers have been as low as they've ever been. So whenever we switch our cycle, we're bringing all that back again. And from the evidence shown prior to, it's going to make a much more successful attendance on Saturday. So yeah, I think that was probably a miss on my part through this last strength cycle that we have, not keeping it fun on Saturdays and giving them an arm day, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Hey, man. So as we wrap up here, I think I have one more question for you.
Yeah,
You seem like someone that you invest a lot in your growth, you're learning, you're always trying to grow. Give me maybe one or two impactful sources of knowledge, mainly not necessarily on the mentorship side, but one or two impactful books or things that you've read or learned that someone could go and get to help influence them to be, successful in this industry like you have been.
for sure, man. 48 Laws of Power is an invaluable resource for so many people. Frankly, you can read it with two mindsets, a really conniving, manipulative one or a protective measure, because a lot of people don't go through that life having to experience somebody using them like that. It teaches you to negotiate. I think the lesson on the book says how to serve your master best. So
Mm,
people that are above you, how do you connect with them to where you slowly close that gap to become an equal?
yeah.
And then, was it Good to Great, man? That was a book
Jim
that
Collins. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, Good to Great. It just sets a simple, straightforward mindset of like, dude, not everybody can have every skill. Find the seat on the bus, man. Those are two of the first books that I read that or really listened to, man. I can't read. Like I could read, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah. They're
refuse to
slow.
sit there
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh, God, throw out that whenever I'm driving, and that's where I absorb it at. But yeah, those two books have really set a good foundation to understand your role and then understand how to connect with people that you are either above or below or on equal footing of yourself.
I love that, man. Well, hey, dude, Gary, I really appreciate your time today. I think this episode's freaking jam packed with tons of knowledge, tons of experience from you. Super stoked to have you today, man.
Thanks, Zach. You've been fun, bro.
Absolutely, brother. I'll catch you later.
Peace.